When the raids ended, the silence across British Columbia felt strange. For years, the Hidalgo operation had moved quietly through the province. Now, everything had stopped at once. Police stations filled with evidence. Boxes of seized phones, documents, and digital files were cataloged and sealed. Every item told part of the same story. Suspects were separated and questioned individually. Some stayed calm, others avoided eye contact. Everyone understood the situation had changed. Investigators worked carefully but quickly. They knew organized crime networks rarely fall apart during arrests. They fall apart during interrogation. At first, the answers sounded rehearsed. People claimed they were just drivers, just warehouse workers, just middlemen who didn't ask questions. Then the evidence came out. Phone records showed repeated late-night calls. Location data placed the same vehicles at key transfer points. Financial records revealed money moving far beyond legal income. Excuses began to fail. Outside the investigation rooms, the impact spread through communities. Warehouses once ignored were now sealed. Bank accounts were frozen without warning. Properties tied to shell companies suddenly sat empty. People started talking. Neighbors questioned how long the operation had been active. Fishermen noticed fewer unfamiliar boats along the coast. Smugglers elsewhere paid close attention. In court documents, the scope became clear. The Hidalgo ring wasn't small. It was structured, disciplined, and designed to avoid attention. Lawyers stepped in and strategies shifted. Some defendants pushed for plea deals. Others prepared to fight, hoping silence would protect them. But silence has limits. Prosecutors knew pressure would do the work for them, because in cases like this, cooperation spreads fast. Every suspect understood the same reality. The first person to talk could reduce their sentence. The last person would carry the weight. The Hidalgo network was no longer hidden. It was exposed to everyone, and what happened next would decide who walked away. It didn't take long for the pressure to work. Days passed, then weeks, and slowly, the silence began to crack. One suspect asked for a lawyer. Another asked for a deal. Investigators waited patiently. They knew how this ended. The first cooperation didn't come from the top. It came from the middle. A driver. Someone who had seen enough routes to understand the system, but not enough power to feel protected. Once the first statement was recorded, everything changed. Names were confirmed. Routes were verified. Hidden storage locations were revealed. Investigators didn't react. They already knew most of it. What they needed was confirmation. More suspects followed. Each cooperation added another layer to the picture. Who coordinated the boats? Who arranged the trucks? Who handled the money? The Hidalgo operation had always relied on silence. Now silence was gone. Court proceedings moved forward with confidence. Prosecutors laid out the case step by step. They showed how drugs entered through remote coastal inlets, how shipments were broken down inland, how profits were moved through shell companies and property purchases. Defense teams struggled to counter the evidence. Too many records, too many witnesses, too many connections. Some defendants accepted plea agreements. Others chose to fight and lost. Sentences were handed down quietly. No dramatic headlines, no chaos. Just consequences. Assets were seized permanently. Properties were sold. Routes were shut down. The Hidalgo network was officially dismantled. But the story didn't end there. The case changed how authorities monitored British Columbia's coastline. Surveillance increased. Inspections improved. Patterns once ignored became red flags. Organized crime groups noticed. Smuggling didn't stop, but it became harder, more expensive, more dangerous. The Hidalgo ring became a lesson, not because it was violent, but because it was invisible. And in the end, invisibility was its weakness. Because once investigators saw the full picture, there was nowhere left to hide. The coast grew quiet again, at least for now. But in a place this vast, silence never lasts forever.